Did you see it? Did you see it? This is wild. This is wild. Yo, I know we've been following this thing. Johnny, what's going on? What's going on? Ash YI4TW, you guys are first. This is some wild, wild stuff right now. I don't even know what to say. Okay, listen. The trade has actually happened. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has been traded back to the Toronto Raptors. Did you see it? Did you see it? This is absolutely insane. Let's jump straight into this thing because, first of all, I knew this trade might go down. I didn't know exactly when, and I didn't exactly know for who. But I was wondering, who are the Raptors going to give up in this thing, in this trade? And now, okay, you bring Kawhi Leonard back, right? You're thinking, okay, that could be good depending on who you have to give up to get Kawhi Leonard. And now, because this is an emergency podcast, I don't have any notes. I ain't got no papers. I ain't got a damn thing. I just jumped on here and I'm just starting to talk. Like, most of it is probably going to be through interactions. If you're watching right now, get in the chat, get your questions in. We're going to go through everything here. I'm streaming live on YouTube, streaming live on Instagram at the same time. If you are here, get your stuff in the chat, questions immediately, because I may jump to them early, damn it. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you because let's look at what the heck happened here. And you guys can see a bit of Sham Charania talk about this. Let's check this thing out here.
How did this deal finally get done? Kawhi going back to Toronto.
And at the crux of this, Kawhi Leonard had 1 year and $50 million left on his contract, and there was no future for him after this season with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers failed to give him a contract extension commitment, but multiple other teams out there were pursuing Kawhi Leonard for the last few weeks, were willing to give him an extension, but he only wanted to go to one team and give only one team a contract extension commitment, and that's the Toronto Raptors. Going back to the city that he led to the 2019 NBA championship. He led them to their only championship in franchise history, won Finals MVP there. And so there was a preference for Kawhi Leonard to stay in Los Angeles, but once it was made clear that there was no future there, he settled on Toronto as his preferred landing spot. And sources told me there were three keys to this. One is the familiarity with the Toronto Raptors organization. We know he spent that 1 year there. He made it very clear that he would leave after just one season, but that 1 year, Bobby Webster, the executive vice president of basketball operations, made the trade to go get him with Brian Wright, the Spurs GM, back in 2018. The city of Toronto as well, and the ability now to go to the Raptors and contend in the Eastern Conference and to be able to say that I ended my career with the Raptors after playing for the Clippers and the Spurs. So I'm told Kawhi Leonard views this as an opportunity to retire in Toronto.
Yo, this is wild, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is a guy who won a championship, okay? So he wins a championship. He bolts, goes to the Clippers, ends up being an abysmal run with the Clippers, and now forces his way back to Toronto. You see, this is crazy. This is something that paid off in the long run, depending on how you look at it, right? Because, and I don't even know where to begin here. I don't even know where to begin here. There's so much that has to be said. There was so much that has to be said. But I will say this. When they made this trade in 2018, right, you took a gamble on one Kawhi Leonard, bringing him in from San Antonio, all right? You didn't know how this thing was going to turn out. You take the gamble, you make the move. The move pays off in the short run, and somehow now, because you made the short run gamble, now it's paid off in the long run as well, which is absolutely insane and wild to me. If you are here and you are watching, we just started this bad boy. Get your questions in the chat. I see them coming in. There are a lot of things that we got to talk about. Get your stuff in here. This isn't the time to just be watching and lollygagging on the sideline. Get your ass in the chat. Get your stuff in here. We have a whole bunch of things that we need to discuss and we need to talk about. And the other thing that we need to talk about is just who exactly went in this trade. So if you don't already know, I'm going to read it for you. And I'm back on X. And I'm reading from Sham Charania's page. Okay, it says breaking. The Los Angeles Clippers are nearing a deal sending Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors for Brandon Ingram. It's official now. But Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick. So Dick is out of here. 2 first-round picks, which I'm still waiting on the confirmation of those years. 1 pick swap and 2 second-round picks. Sources tell ESPN. A return to Canada for the Raptors champion and 2-time Finals MVP. So if you did not hear that, I will repeat it one more time. Kawhi Leonard comes to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram. So Brandon Ingram is out of here. He's back to LA. Okay? Brandon Ingram is out of here. And you know what? Should we drop one for Ingram? We'll drop one for Ingram. There you go. We'll drop one for Ingram. He did good in his year for the Toronto Raptors. He did good in his year here. So we'll drop one for Ingram. But like I mentioned, Ingram, Grady Dick is now out of here. 2 first-round picks, which I'm waiting to find out what those years are. 1 pick swap and 2 second-rounders. 2 second-rounders. And so this is crazy. So the thing that I heard that was holding the deal up from what I read earlier today was that the Clippers were pushing to get Jamal Shed. The Clippers were pushing to get Jamal Shed. I'm trying to find a confirmation on that somewhere, which I did see if I actually go to my timeline. But yes, they did want Jamal Shed. And listen, I would be the first one to tell you there is no way in hell, and I mean absolutely no way in hell, that you give up Jamal Shed in this trade. That is just an absolute no-no. You do not do that. And so now you're looking at a base team here. You're looking at a Scottie Barnes, Kawhi Leonard, RJ Barrett is still on your team. Jamal Shed quickly is still here. Colin Murray Boyles, if I didn't already say him. Jacoby Walter is still here. Jakob Poeltl is still there. Even though I have my suspicions and I think something is going to go down with him at this well. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you guys watch my show, and I'm sure some of you who are on here, maybe some of you are new to here. If you're new to here, hello for the first time. But for those of you who watch the show, the last few podcasts that we did in regards to the draft and, why you draft in regards to the best player and not position, what did we say? It's because you don't know what your team is going to look like next week or the week after. That's why. So now you add, you look at some real defensive demons at this point. Jamal Shed, Walter, CMB, Boyles, Scotty B. I mean, at this point, when you make a trade for a dude like Kawhi Leonard, what Bobby Webster in the front office is telling you right now is we're going for the chip now. So everybody right now, if you are watching, you are seeing this and listening to this, everything has now changed for the Raptors. Everything has now changed. We just went from a team before this season that was rebuilding to a team that is now a first round playoff exit. I got news for you now at this point. The Raptors from here on out are going for the chip. They're going for the ring. We're coming back, damn it. Damn it, I'm putting on the equipment, baby. Go blow the dust off your plaques. We're back in the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're back in the game. Now, listen, I'm not saying that I was 100% sold on this thing immediately. It's just the truth. I'm not going there. Okay? I'm not going to front to you and say that I was immediately sold on this whole Kawhi Leonard thing. Now, a lot of that was contingent upon who the hell are you giving up? That's the thing. Shout out to the Molten Sting, damn it. Okay? Shout out to the Molten Sting. It was all dependent on who you're giving up. That is the question. Now, obviously, a healthy Kawhi is still one of the best two-way players that you will find in basketball. It's one of the first two-way, he's one of the best two-way players. Hasn't been any decline yet. There has not been any decline in Kawhi Leonard yet. The Raptors have one of the best staffs in the business when it comes to keeping guys healthy. We've seen this before, right? Familiar work here. Now, listen, here's something that I'll admit. I wasn't necessarily too crazy about Kawhi coming back, like I mentioned, because of who it may have included in the deal. You don't get rid of Colin Murray Boyles. You don't get rid of Jamal Shed. You don't get rid of any of those guys. Those guys are Raptors demons. We're back. Damn it. We're in business right now. Shout out to Brandon Ingram. You did your part here. I love me some Brandon Ingram. All right? It was a nice year. You are an all-star again because of the Toronto Raptors. You are back on the map. And now you get to try to be an all-star in the Western Conference. In the Western Conference. CMB, Shed, Jacoby, still in the building. Give us something, Alan Graves. All right? Our first round pick. Welcome him to the party. Kawhi, sir, welcome back. If I had some beers right now, I'd do my best Stone Cold Steve Austin impression and smash him right in front of everybody. I wouldn't even drink it. I'd just pour it on top of my face. I mean, this is some of the and to think about this. Think about how wild this actually is. Thank you. Your comments are coming and keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'm getting to every single one. They live 2213. I see your comment. That's wild. I mean, dick pics. I'm sorry. Listen. To think how wild this is. Think about this. Kawhi Leonard held the Clippers hostage and said, if you don't trade me back to the Raptors, I'm coming out publicly with my team and telling every team in the NBA, I will not re-sign with you. I'm only re-signing with the Raptors. Boy, do things change. And listen to this. We got some other news today. About LeBron James. LeBron James has told the Los Angeles Lakers that he's out. He's out of there. So guess what? LeBron James might be making his way back to the Eastern Conference. Now, there's a whole bunch of speculation out there that maybe LeBron James ends up with the Golden State Warriors. Maybe that is a possibility. But there's also a possibility that LeBron James ends up back with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And ladies and gentlemen, when we had Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James was out of here. He went west. I'm here to tell you right now, the Raptors have unfinished business with a few teams. The Raptors have unfinished business with a few teams. Did you hear the Raptors? Did you hear them earlier when they made the trade? Did you hear them?
I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want.
I mean, they're getting really bossy right now at this point. I mean, damn, it's only been what, an hour since this thing came out? I mean, this is crazy. Just absolutely wild, crazy stuff. And when you see a trade like this, right? When you're looking at bringing a guy back in like Kawhi Leonard, at this point, Bobby Webster, now that you do this deal, you can't stop here. That's the thing, right? Like when you see this trade the first time, when you get a guy like Kawhi Leonard, right? They didn't stop after that. They had to go get a Gasol. They had to get the right pieces in here to make sure that if you're going, you go all the way. So now at this point, Bobby Webster ain't done now. Once you make that big splash for Leonard, now you got to go all the way. Now, I don't know what's happening with Quickly and Barrett and Pirtle and all these different guys. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm just saying that at this point, when you're making moves, you make them all. Because everything now for the Toronto Raptors has changed. You're going for it all. Now, regardless of what you see or what you hear, I promise you right now, every city in the Eastern Conference right now is shook. I promise you, every team in the East right now, there's a bit of a shock factor here because it's only been an hour, but I promise you, every team in the East with Kawhi Leonard coming back to the Raptors, every team is shook. Every team is shook. Scary hours back in the building. Now, New York is still that team. Don't get me wrong. They won their championship and they're going to be back. They have a nice squad, but they're shook too. New York, Boston, Detroit, Miami, Philly. Who else? Atlanta. I don't give a damn what team it is anymore. Everyone is shook out here right now. Because they know, trust me, defensive hell is coming up right now for these other 14 teams in the Eastern Conference. Because the Raptors, we're going to see what else they're going to do. I'm going to start getting to some of the comments here because like I mentioned, this is an emergency pod. And typically I would have certain topics, certain segments that I want to get to and certain discussions and all that kind of stuff. But it's an emergency pod. I don't have any notes. I don't have any papers. I don't have anything with me. So I'm going straight to you guys. I'm going straight to the comments. And we're going to have this conversation. First of all, let me just go back to Sham Charania's page to make sure my eyes are not deceiving me. Kawhi Leonard is coming back to the Raptors here. That's what we're seeing here. Yes? Okay. My eyes are not being deceived. I'm going straight to the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are here and you are here for the first time, get in the chat. Throw something in there. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you like the trade, you hate the trade, maybe you're 50-50 on it. Put your comment in and I will get to it right now. If you know somebody who would also like this show right now, as I'm doing it live, make sure you take the time, share this show with them right now. Okay, I'm getting into the comments immediately because there's just so much that we got to discuss here. Run it back. Let's go from Ash YI14W. Johnny is in the building. Ayo, you guys were the first ones, actually. Scotty says, I'm dying outside. Yeah, it's hot as bleep out there. But saw this pod and had to get on. Appreciate you, Johnny. Appreciate you, man. I just put out the damn it, I should have promoted this on X as well, but I was just so excited to just turn on the damn camera. Okay, when are we going to be hired, Ash? Good point. You and Ash at 4TW. The turnaround, yes, very much so. All right, let's see here. This is going to be Chronic Assassin. This is going to be a fantastic season. We have an actual closer now who can score in the fourth of playoff games. Well, listen, one of the big things that was talked about and pushed consistently, not only by me, by Bobby Webster, was he was extremely clear about that. What has been the big issue that I've talked about in regards to the Raptors the entire damn season? Offense. Offensively, they were just not a very good basketball team a lot of the time. They weren't. They were good from a defensive standpoint, top 10, top 5, actually. But they had to get better from an offensive standpoint. Now, not only do you have a guy that can get you 25 a game next to Scottie Barnes, you have a guy who can close for you and make big shots at the end of games, while at the same time being one of the best defenders and perimeter defenders in the league. I mean, come on. They lived 22-13. We gave them Ingram and dick pics. That's just foul. That is just foul. I see you. I see you. I see what you did there. Hi, Daniel Franklin's in the building. What up, Daniel? Hi. I think it's about the picks, not the players. I hope Grady gets minutes on the Clippers if he's going. Shout out to Grady as well. Grady, rough season for the Toronto Raptors, but wish him nothing but the best. I hope we do get to see him do well over there playing for the Clippers. I mean, we don't know if he's going to be getting moved off somewhere else, but listen, I think Grady wanted a new opportunity. He gets a new opportunity, get some minutes now playing for the LA Clippers, so he's in a different situation. I'm sure Bobby called him up and said, hey, you're out of here, bud. No, I'm sure he said, we loved you, man. You did great. This is just a business, and this is how things work and all this kind of stuff. You know how it's done. You know how it's done. It is a business. It's a tough business. I understand, but this is sports. And think about this. Can you guys think about where we were a month ago, right? Were we still in the playoffs a month ago, or was it a little bit more than that? It was a little bit more than that. But think about where we were. We were saying, all right, what are we going to do here, right? What type of moves are the Raptors going to make? Because remember when I did that show and I was talking about, I think I did the show and I was talking about Alan Graves, right? A week or so ago, and bringing him in. And I was like, yeah, it's nice that the Raptors are bringing in, hopefully another really good rookie. And we're finding guys on the cheap that are rookies and drafting guys and signing guys, exhibit. Like, you got Scottie Barnes, bro. You got Scottie Barnes going into his 6th season? Like, at what point do you put guys around Scottie Barnes that are veterans if you're trying to win? Like, did we think that we were going to keep bringing in rookie after rookie after rookie, and that's going to help Scottie Barnes and company win a championship here? Because listen, this is exactly the type of move that you should make. Why? Because Scottie Barnes is young, going into his 6th season. We saw him turn into a playoff demon this past season. And you need to put somebody else next to him that can play on both ends of the court. That is just straight up nasty. You got to make sure that in these young years still for Scottie Barnes, who is still very young, hasn't even hit his prime yet. You got to make sure that he has the requisite help to be able to do damage right now. There is an opening here in the East. There's an opening here right now. The Miami Heat, we're not sure what they're going to be, right? Like let's you know what? Let's go to ESPN here. Let's go. Let's look at these teams, right? Just for a quick second. Let's look at these teams in the Eastern Conference and see like who is really a massive major threat at this point, because I can tell you who's a massive major threat at this point. The Raptors. Listen, let's look here. All right, you got the Detroit Pistons. A threat to the Raptors at this point? There's no one here. No one. Right? And listen, you got Detroit, Boston, New York, Cleveland, Atlanta, Philly, Orlando, Charlotte, Miami, Milwaukee. Indiana's going to be better. Washington's going to be a lot better. But this looks like Toronto right now at this 5th spot, I would say can match up with anyone. Cleveland, New York, Boston, Detroit. They can match up with anybody at this point. And we don't know what next move the Raptors are going to make. And the reason this is so crazy and the reason this changes so many different things is because isn't it crazy now that when you become a title contender again, right? Isn't it crazy now how many other people want to join your team? Right? Like how many other people are going to look at the Raptors now and be like, yo, there's a possibility here that maybe, just maybe, the Raptors might win this damn thing. Maybe I should try to get on this squad. If the Raptors are going for it all, then, I mean, yo, go for it all. North 6 says, great trade. All they need to get is a few vet men guys for the bench. And I think they're I mean, at this point, you're going all in. So you're going to look and see what you can get. But boy, am I happy. No giving up Walter, no giving up Shed, no giving up Colin Murray Boyles. I would have been pissed if any of those guys left. And now you keep all three. You give up Grady Dick. Okay? Out of here. Okay? BI and Grady seems fair. It's the the first 2 seconds that sounds rich. I hope it's only 1 first and swaps. You know what? I want to know the years for those picks. Has anybody found that yet? Is anybody on X? Is anybody on Instagram? Like I don't know what years those picks were. If somebody can find that out, throw it in the chat if they happen to find it, because I'm interested in what years those are. I'm interested in what years those are. I want to know, is it a 2027, a 2028, a 2029, a 2030? Where the heck, what years are those picks? All right, what do we got here? Mike, how would structure the extension? That's an interesting one. I think his extension is going to be a 2-year deal. He can play out this contract, get the 2-year deal after that. That's what I think it's going to be. But the Clippers, for what we were, at least from what I was reading, had enough. They did not want to give anything else, any other contract extension to Kawhi Leonard, because Steve Ballmer most likely couldn't find another business to funnel him the money. That's what I'm assuming here. Let's get back to your question. And there's a lot. Okay. Where am I here? Bel Air, Pappy. Can't wait to see all those we don't Kawhi people in the city do a fat U-turn. That's fair. That's fair. What happens if you were on the fence about it? I could understand that one because I was on the fence too. I really was. I didn't want none of those young guys out of here. Ash YI4TW. Grady definitely needed to go. I'll miss Ingram though, but give him a healthy Kawhi. Give me a healthy Kawhi, and I'm happy. Yeah, shout out to Ingram, man. Shout out. If I didn't already do so for Ingram, did I drop one for Ingram already? If I didn't already do so, you know what? Short-lived, 1 season for Brandon Ingram, but the Raptors absolutely knew what they were doing when it came to Brandon Ingram. And, that's why, when I saw a lot of people tripping over this Ingram contract that he signed with the Raptors, oh, it's so much, $40 million a season. I'm like, dude, it's only a 3-year deal. It's only a 3-year deal. I've said that so many times. You play 1 season like he did, and now you got 2 years left. And what did we say? I was on a show. When did I do the show? Was it last week with Penn? Rob from Pensari Basketball. I was on his show last week, and I'm gonna have to talk to Rob sometime soon because we were literally just talking about this on my last episode. And we were saying like, yo, that's an easily movable deal. Easily movable deal. Daniel Franklin again says, BI had that water throwing incident. I wonder if BI wasn't a great fit. You know what? I think he was a good fit. I think he was a good teammate. I just think that opportunity met preparation at this point with the Raptors giving out certain deals. Now with the opportunity to make some noise again in the Eastern Conference, the Raptors found it and capitalized and took it. And so, for BI, I'm not sure necessarily how he feels about this. Of course, obviously, we wish him all the best. But boy, the NBA and sports, talk about a ruthless business. I mean, talk about a ruthless business. I mean, you are an all-star. You do work. And then you get to the playoffs, don't do much, did get injured, and now you get shipped out to the Clippers. I mean, damn. Ash YI4TW, $5 in the super chat. I appreciate that. Anything I get, I don't even care if it's 1 cent, will be put in to making the production of this podcast and this show better. So $5, I appreciate that. I appreciate 1 cent, damn it. I do. Thank you. I do not take it for granted. Johnny LYP says, I'm so glad he wants to retire here. This is crazy. And I'm glad you brought that up because I want to get back into this thing for just a second. Now, Kawhi, before he came to Toronto, he already made up his mind before he came to Toronto, saying that he was going back to LA and he was going to play for the Clippers. Everybody already knew that. So if everybody is hell-bent and pissed on Kawhi Leonard leaving and going to LA after the Raptors won that championship, don't be too bent out of shape about that because it didn't matter where he got traded to. He wasn't staying. And he made that clear. He was not staying anywhere. He was going back home to LA, which is, I completely understand. But here's the thing. And here's what we got to love about the city of Toronto. With everything that happened in that 2018-2019 season, the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard, that epic run. Even when Kawhi left, remember, Kawhi was still very gracious. He's had good things to say about the Raptors and Toronto and their organization. Go watch his press conference when he went to the Clippers. He said nothing but glowing things about the city, the fans, the organization. He did. And when he came back and played against the Raptors last season, remember, there was a gym that was opening. Is that Kawhi's gym that he opened out in Scarborough or one of those places. Y'all will have to check me on that, but I'm pretty sure he opened like his own gym or something like that for kids to be able to get in there, play basketball and all that kind of stuff. He was there. He was there when it opened. He was playing with the kids, all that kind of stuff. So now he's built a rapport, relationship with the city, right? He's built a relationship with the fans. Because when Kawhi Leonard bolted out of here, he could have done that maybe a season after, 2 seasons after. This is, now 6-7 years later. And he's still coming to Toronto, leaving the team, leaving the hotel, going to open up that gym, playing with the kids, putting on clinics for them. And I think that's amazing. You see, one thing that happened is he came to Toronto and ended up loving the city. That's a big part of what happened. He ended up loving the city. And now he's trying to run it back, damn it. Side note, love the Malton Sting crew neck. Appreciate that. Yes, Malton Sting. Shout out Malton still in the building. And also shout out to Team Canada. Shout out to Team Canada who will be in action next week. I was at a Team Canada practice just yesterday. I was at the Team Canada practice yesterday as one of the coaches who were coaching with some of the Team Canada coaches, putting on a clinic for the youngins. So I appreciate that. Malton Sting was in the building as well. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you'll see some videos, pictures, and all that kind of stuff on Team Canada's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever the hell they have. I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing some videos. You might catch me in some of those in the next day or two. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, you got me sidetracked here, Ashwa at 4TW. But yeah, shout out to the Malton Sting. This is the best thing for the Raptors roster. That's from JFams 15. Okay. Johnny says, finally, someone that can teach Scottie how to be a superstar. No offense, Garrett. No offense, Garrett Temple. Damn. I mean, really, Johnny, you had to go there. I mean, damn it. Sometimes Johnny's just out of control here. Like Johnny,
it's completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this.
I mean, Johnny's just out of control sometimes. Well, on the Mike Road show. I'm telling you. All right, JFams 15. The growth of Pascal, Norm, and Van Vliet in 1 year. Imagine working with Kawhi for 3 years. Imagine Scottie, CMB, Walter, and Allen's growth. That's a good point. Because, and I remember Norman was saying this, right? These guys were saying that Kawhi is a quiet dude, but he leads by example. And I have a feeling the second time around now that he is in Toronto, I don't think he's going to be as quiet as he was the first time. I don't think he's going to be as quiet as he was the first time because it's like they kept mentioning, and Shams kept saying this over and over and over again. The familiarity, right? The familiarity with the city. When he comes in now, Kawhi immediately knows what to expect. He immediately knows what to expect when he comes here. So Kawhi, it's going to be different because he's going to be more comfortable. The people who are around him are going to be more comfortable. They're going to know the staff. They're going to know some of the fans and the people who are around and in the organization and the super fan and all these different people. Yo, can you imagine opening night in Toronto? Can you imagine opening night for the Raptors this upcoming season in October? It is going to be wild. Like, think about this immediately now, right? That and I want to get back to your question because it's an important one. It's an important statement that you made, and I'm going to get to in just a second. But think about how many nationally televised games the Raptors already are lining up to have right now. Right now, Amazon Prime and Peacock and NBC are literally just stamping the Raptors' names on all these different games right now. Oh, Christmas. Oh, they're in the building. Oh, this time. Oh, they're in the building. The Raptors right now. Okay, I'm calling this from now. The Raptors are playing on Christmas this year. The Raptors are playing on Christmas Day this year. Tell me they're not playing on Christmas Day this year. Tell me they're not playing on Christmas Day. You know who the Raptors won on Christmas Day this year? The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks. Or the Miami Heat. Or the Boston Celtics. We want one of them. Or damn it, maybe it should be against our first round opponents this year in the playoffs. Maybe it should be against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do the Raptors play on Christmas Day now? I have a feeling they might, but I want to get back to this question or this statement for just a second. This is going to be great for Scottie Barnes. They need to link up. They need to talk immediately because this thing has turned in a completely different direction. Toronto Raptors, ASHY4TW. Toronto Raptors are back on the map. We definitely will be up there in the East. Now, 2027 playoffs. Let's go. Hashtag fun guy is back. Damn it. Okay, so they live 22, 13, 27, and 29 picks. So those are the first round picks from 2027 and 2029. Okay, interesting. If we had Kawhi instead of Ingram, we had a chance to go to East Final last season. Possibly so. No, we need Shed. Absolutely. He needs to improve his threes, though. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm assuming Jamal Shed. All right. Johnny says, we need a better center. Now, that's another thing, and I think that's going to be interesting here. So, right now, you make this trade, but you can't end it here. What do you do here with Jakob Poeltl? And I don't know if anything is going to happen with Jakob Poeltl. I have no idea. But I am going to assume that Bobby Webster is trying to do something. I'm assuming he's trying to do something. I don't know what it is. Don't know if he'll get to. But I'm assuming they're going to try to do something with Jakob Poeltl. We will see. Johnny also says we better keep RJ Barrett. Now, that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. That is interesting. That's interesting. We don't know what they're going to do with Barrett because Barrett is on the last year of that deal. He's an expiring contract. We don't know if they're going to be able to come to some type of a contractual agreement with RJ Barrett, right? We don't know if they can come to an agreement, get maybe a 3-year deal going at some price point, or they just let RJ Barrett play this thing out, become a free agent and gamble that way. Or do you trade him for something if you're not going to be able to come to an agreement with a contract? Right? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find that out. And I'm sure, wait a second, hold on a second. When does free agency start? Does free agency start in an hour? Oh, Lord. It's going to be a crazy night. I think free agency starts tonight at like 6:30 or something like that. And I just realized that. All we need is a center. They live 22-13. Kawhi really held the power. Clippers had to listen or they'd get nothing in return. They wouldn't get a lot because Kawhi said he ain't re-signing with you other teams out here. I actually like this more than getting Giannis. It's an interesting move. And boy, I mean, Kawhi was like hellbent. I think when they kept that 5th pick and didn't move it to get him some veteran help, Kawhi was like, I'm out. We ain't running this back. I'm going back to Canada, okay, where they appreciated me and where I saw 1 million people at that damn parade. Always remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you remember that picture with Kawhi Leonard at the parade when he was looking out into the crowd and you see through his glasses all the people? Maybe, just maybe he'll get to see that again. All right, let me keep the comments going here. And there's a lot, but I'm going to sift through these and we can keep going here. Damn, Mike, you don't have to do this to us. We got no rings. You know what? Maybe it's kind of heavy, though. It's kind of heavy. I had to get this one. Where did I get this one? This is the replica. But I got it one night at Scotiabank when, I can't remember, the following season, a bunch of rings were coming out. And they were giving some out to us. All right. Damn, Mike just turned into a villain. Listen, this is extremely exciting times just for the sheer fact that we're going for it all again. We didn't have to wait 35 years to try to be back in contention. We are here. We are here. That ring must belong to Thanos. It's one of them, damn it. Efrunza says, welcome back to the Claw. Logical Raptors fanatic is in the building. Says Bobby doing work. Efrunza says to as well. Now let's bring back Kalo and Serge. We're not going there, Efrunza. We are not going there. Logical Raptors fan says, upgraded the defense and offense 100%. Facts. You don't need every pick with years of CMB, Shed, and Jacoby. And listen, this is crazy because, and yes, and I hear you. You do want to keep those picks, and that's why the Raptors are so hell-bent on those picks. But they keep the 2028 pick, it looks like. And because you're now going for it all, you're trying to win the chip, you're going to need a few more young or whatever type of veterans you're going to need, but you're going to need win now guys. You're going to need win now guys, right? But you still have enough youth, right? When you think about Scottie's still a young movement. Scottie, CMB, Graves, Walter, Shed. You're still young, and all of those guys are playing minutes for you, right? Quickly, Barrett. You're still not an old team, right? Sandro could be back. I have no idea what's going to happen with Sandro. Maybe he could be back. I don't know at this point. I guess it depends on what happens with some of your other guys first now. Adam says it happened, my guy. It really did. It did. This is a crazy ass day, especially about to be Canada Day tomorrow. Like, I thought Bobby was going to wait for this thing to drop at midnight and just hit everybody with the bomb and just go boom. Okay. The trade at this one right here. He said, the hell with this. We ain't waiting until Canada Day. We're starting Canada Day a day early. Everyone get your damn drinks in the air. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of this coconut water. That's what's up. Okay. In total cost was DeRozan BI, and five first-round picks. Crazy. Yes. But you have to mention, we already got a title out of that. And hopefully you can add Scottie Barnes in there too. We got Barnes out of there. Kind of. I'm just being random here. It was Siakam and 2 firsts for Shed, Jacoby, and Kawhi. Ifrunza said, let's go over the cap and build this year. Win this year, I mean. Johnny says, and I hope he joins the Cavs. I want to give them a nice payback for LeBronto. I don't know what LeBron is going to do. Drake said he always made his career off of switching teams. Did you hear that on Iceman? And so I don't know if he's going to be doing this back to Cleveland thing, which I thought maybe he might do. But I'm wondering now, does he maybe actually go to Golden State? That'd be pretty crazy if he ended up going from LA to Golden State. They said, oh, he said, yo, you're giving Austin Reeves his contract first before me? I'm out. And guess what? If you're the Lakers, I don't blame you. Like, it was time to move the hell on from LeBron James. Okay? Back to the Raptors. Kawhi instead, Ingram. That 5th best defense, top 3. The defense does get better with one Kawhi Leonard. And has to be top 10 offense now. Well, we still need the Raptors to have some shooting. Now, obviously, yeah, Kawhi Leonard does bring you that. But we still need a sharpshooter or 2. We do. We got to be able to make threes, baby. Because we got guys who are going to be able to put pressure on that defense going downhill, right? You want to be able to kick it out to shooters when need be. You need space. And that's why I'm wondering, right? Because when we had Kawhi Leonard the first time around, we had a Serge Ibaka. We had a Marc Gasol. Those are 2 guys who you can play at your big spots and who can stretch the floor out for you and give you space, give you some better driving angles here. And so I'm wondering what happens now. Are people really taking this in? Kawhi, Scottie Barnes, Colin Murray Boyles. You know, it's funny because people are talking about Kawhi and Scottie Barnes. Yes, understandably so. But ladies and gentlemen, after what we saw in the first round of the playoffs against Cleveland, the impact of Colin Murray Boyles as a rookie, learning now from a guy like Kawhi Leonard and still Scottie Barnes, what is the impact that it will have on the floor with the Raptors? And I'll say this again with Colin Murray Boyles, because I love Colin Murray Boyles. He's a damn good player. Colin Murray Boyles, I guarantee. Do I have that sound bite from Charles? Where is it, damn it? Where is my... Guarantee. Colin Murray Boyles, if he's working on anything this offseason, when it comes to offense, remember how pissed I was all those times where he was giving up shots underneath the basket? And I'm like, dude, why don't you just flush it home? Why don't you take that mid-range? That 3-point shot that you had that was available, you got to be able to take and make that. Like, if Colin Murray Boyles can start to stretch that floor from 3, I mean, wow, this team gets a lot more interesting even at that point. All right, I'm going to move on a little bit faster here because we're getting into an hour here. And we got to keep this baby moving, okay? Logical Raptors fan, Pirtle is solid in my opinion. Could upgrade though, okay? RJ ain't on the market. Ash YI40W says, LBJ really dipping on the Lakers. Well, he's been there, won a championship there. So yeah, I hear you. Thank you, Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick. Yes, thank the both of you. I still got love for both of them, and I want to see them do well. I understand this is a business. Everybody's excited, but these are still people's lives. So shout out to both of them, and I hope they both do well in LA. Logical Raptors fan. RJ wants to be a Raptor. We can match any offer, and he's a Raptor. Well, the thing is, you want to bring him back, but you got to bring him back at a good price point, right? Got to bring him back at a good price point. I'm not scared of RJ free agency. Adam drops a whole bunch of fire emojis. I heard you. Johnny says, so why is our organization disrespecting him then? Disrespecting who? I don't know who you're talking about. IQ and Jakob didn't even deserve it. Deserve what? I'm lost. Are you guys going back and forth talking to each other? What is going on here? All right, let's get to dancing baby bins. IQ, Kawhi, RJ, Scottie, CMB. Who can drive past these floor defenders that have active hands? They're going to be very active on it from a defensive standpoint. Oh, man. This is going to be good. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, it ain't over. It ain't over yet. Just remember that. This is not over. We refuse to draft one. I'm assuming you're talking about a center. Logical Raptors fan says, we flipped non-lottery forwards into multiple assets. Johnny LP says, agreed, Ash. No notes needed because we are the notes. Haha. I'm back with all my BS. Damn right you are. Logical Raptors fanatic says, it's quickly RJ, Kawhi, Barnes, Pirtle. Bench, Shed, Jacoby, Graves, CMB, Sandro probably, but we don't know yet because we don't know what's going on with Sandro. And I have a feeling he's probably going to dip because he's going to go for the big bucks. But Jordan, Battle, Martin, Bradley. I want another big behind Pirtle. And I know you can play some of your other guys there, your CMBs, but I want another. I know we signed, was it Biddle? Nate Biddle from Oregon? I could be wrong there. You guys might have to confirm that for me again. All right. Charlotte traded away LaMelo too. Yes, we did hear that. I like Charlotte. I like where they're going with their roster. I think they're going in a different direction. Obviously, they want to try something new there. So I see where they're going. They got some nice pieces moving forward. Boston is a mess because Jaylen Brown might be traded. That is true. Miami is a joke with Giannis. I wouldn't go that far. They get another piece or two. I mean, I don't know. Norman Powell's a free agent. Watch out for that name. That's interesting. We probably easily top 3 in the East next season. Absolutely. At least I see it that way. Sandro wants to be back, in my opinion. Maybe he does. I don't know how it's going to go, but I would assume if this is going to be one of his bigger paydays, I would assume that Sandro is probably going to go look to get the money. That's what I would assume. Maybe the first is conditional based on Kawhi games played. I have no idea if you guys know anything. And if you guys are searching social media right now and you can find something, let me know. If the Raps made the playoffs, then the Spurs got the first. Is that how it was right? He was a fit for Darko. I really wanted to stay in Toronto, though. I think he did really want to stay here. And that's the crazy thing, right? Like, you see, the NBA really knows what they're doing here when it comes to this first, second apron, all the stuff they're doing with this draft stuff. Everything is different now because of this. Teams don't want to be going crazy with their spending. So now everything's got to be spread out a little bit more. The parity, right? Everybody kind of has a little bit more of a chance, maybe not a big chance, but a little bit more of a chance. You look at a team like the Thunder, they've had to get rid of some key players as well, right? That spending now has to be under control. You no longer want to see the days, or may see the days of seeing teams win 68 games and 65 and then seeing another team win 10. Like, that is just insanity. Let me get into a few more of these comments. Kawhi is better on defense. Yes, that is true. Logical Raptors fan, Kawhi open last year. All right, let's get to Fromage Frog 99. All right, get out of my way so I can read here. No one wants to discuss this, but the Raptors season will depend on Pirtle's back holding up, which it won't. Worst contract in the NBA. We need a 2026 version of Rasho Nesterovic or Serge Ibaka. I know you didn't just mention Rasho Nesterovic. And the funny thing is, even though Rasho Nesterovic wasn't a, sexy player on the basketball court in returns of, skills, talent, all that kind of stuff, he did have some game. He did have a little bit of game. I do remember one Rasho Nesterovic. Okay, I really do. But listen, Pirtle, it's a good point, right? Because, and the thing is, when it comes to Jakob Pirtle, I want to say this. Jakob Pirtle is no bum. He's not. When Jakob Pirtle was healthy and had a good back a few seasons ago, Jakob Pirtle is a good player. But can that back hold up? I don't know. We're hoping it does. Pirtle is good for certain matchups. And listen, I, for one, have talked about Pirtle a bunch. I want to see him improve his game. I want to see him be able to take, I know he has that little push shot, but damn it, is it impossible for him to get some type of jumper? I'm not saying he has to step back and drill threes. And I know you're saying, come on, Mike, you're just going too far here. A man can wish. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. We've seen a bunch of centers, all right, who had never taken 3-point shots in their life hit 3-point shots all the time now. And I'm not saying that for Pirtle. I'm just saying, can you make a mid-range? Can you practice that over and over? I mean, how long has it been in the offseason now already? You should be taking 1,000 a day at this point. They live 22-13. I wonder if the Kawhi and Dine is still available for him. Listen, I'm sure with this trade right now, Kawhi Leonard is hopping on a jet to get his ass here for the press conference right now. And it's a perfect time because it's LA type weather. It is hot outside today. And I mean, it is hot as it's just bacon. Absolutely bacon today. Are you kidding me? This is going to be going on for the rest of the week. Heat wave, damn it. And I'm here for it. Pirtle is a walking hospital patient. Damn. Come on. Did you have to go there? Did you just
over here during whole season? I've been holding it back. It's a complete crap.
Damn. All right, let me keep going here because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm going to have to skip a few. LMAO, I'm really excited. Mike, I hear you, Johnny. Remember Pirtle missing over 35 games, always due to his back. He's the biggest problem on this team. He's our starting center. Raptors fans are so naive sometimes. We understand that, and I think we've talked about that. I think most Raptors fans would know that by now. But is he a complete bum? No. He's got to be able to move, though. And so you're hoping he does really, really well with his rehab, improves his game, proves people wrong. And honestly, we don't know what the hell is going to happen with Pirtle. And in a few weeks, if Pirtle's even going to be on this team. But if you do have him, you make the best of him because you have no choice but to do so. So we will see. I think he partnered with TAT Stadium. There's a court named after him. Oh, is that the thing you're talking about with Kawhi Leonard? That could be a good point. So hopefully that's interesting. Okay. I seen the metrics. We lost like every game Pirtle sat. I see a bunch of you are arguing about Pirtle. I am definitely not here to argue about Jakob Pirtle. I can tell you that much. But you guys can go on and argue here. NR7920. So glad he's coming back. And where other players are concerned, Kawhi coming back might change the landscape and make us an option for players in future trades. That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm going to talk about that for a second because when and I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point because I'll say this. Whenever has a superstar, and Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. He's one of the best two-way players in the game, damn it. When in the history of the Toronto Raptors has a player of his caliber or any player ever said, the only team you must trade me to is the Raptors. It is the only place that I will sign an extension. Out of every team in the NBA. The hell with New York, even though they just won the championship. Obviously, he's not going there. But the destination places, the Lakers, Miami, Chi-Town, wherever the hell you, Dallas, Houston, wherever the case may be. When has a player ever said that the only place I will sign an extension is in Toronto? That has never happened. Once again, that has never happened before. This is the first time. So this may pay dividends to the Raptors down the line. Because, everybody says, oh, it's Toronto. It's cold. All right. Let's see here. Detroit's freezing. Boston is cold as crap. New York's cold as hell. Cleveland's cold. Obviously, we talked about the Raptors. Philly's freezing. All right. Milwaukee's cold. Chicago's called the Windy City for a reason. Brooklyn is cold as bleep. Indiana, Washington. I mean, are you kidding me? Really? It's cold. Like, we're still saying that? We're still saying, oh, Toronto, it's freezing. They're all freaking cold, you goofs. What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. Let's stop being ridiculous here. Where am I going here? Where am I going here? This podcast will turn into a 4-hour documentary. Listen, I've had to skip some of these comments because they're just, I see you guys arguing over things that I have no idea. I just see you arguing. I'm just skipping over them. Masai said Pirtle was a championship level center. Well, that's nice. That's really, really nice that he said that about Pirtle. I don't know about that one. Pay me $100 million to warm up the bench, damn it. Okay. Where am I going here? Let's move down here. Phoenix plays 1581. I don't think you need another big. You need a point of attack at the guard spot. Flip RJ into someone legit at the 2. I mean, that's interesting. I'm not sure what the heck is going to happen with RJ. And I know we're talking about Pirtle and all that kind of stuff. Listen, the Raptors the one key thing they always talk about when Masai Ujiri was here, now Bobby Webster, one thing they always talk about is that word that starts with the letter O. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what that word is. That word is options. That word, options. The Raptors have options now. That is key. Now, how they're going to make a move or a couple moves, we're just going to have to wait and see what the heck Bobby Webster is made out of and see what he's coming up with to put around now the core of Scottie Barnes, Kawhi Leonard, the rest of the young crew. We're going to have to wait and see. But something else is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but it's going to happen. I'm legit going to cry. Yes, I saw it. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just tuning in, you're seeing the headline correctly. Raptors trade to bring Kawhi Leonard back to Toronto. Your closing lineups are with CMB anyways. That is probably going to be true. Yes. LeBron to Toronto. We know that's not happening. Okay. Oh, hell no, Miller. All right. Let me see here. You know, when I changed my mind on that, you still have Jacoby to slot in at the 2. Shed, Jacoby, Kawhi, Scottie, and CMB as a closing 5 is elite defensively. Yep, that's what we were talking about earlier. Jacoby is no joke. He's working on his game right now as we speak. As we speak. To me, that was the key in this trade. You don't give up Jacoby. You don't give up Shed. You don't give up CMB. You don't give those guys up. You're going to need all of those guys. He mentions to Johnny. Oh, their defense starting. RJ, I'm just saying we still have Jacoby, point of attack defense. If need to be, and RJ is having a stupid stretch. See what you're saying there. Canada won last game in World Cup. You know what? Damn it. Yep. We're going to drop a bomb for the Canadian men's national soccer team. Damn it. I'm going to the round of 16. I believe we are playing Morocco on Saturday in the round of 16. We're hoping they get the W there. Correct me if I am wrong, but I do believe that is the case. Hey, Mike, I have a suggestion for the NBA. What is that? Let us face 76ers so Kawhi can destroy his homeboy PG-13. That's interesting, but we don't know. You know what? Now that you bring that up, I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm wondering what the hell happens with Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Because if you're, let's say, if you're Philly right now, right? You're already worried about all the different things that these teams are doing. You're worried about New York. They're coming to kick your tail again later on this season. That's coming. You're still worried about probably the Boston Celtics, even though you did knock them out in the first round. You're still worried about them. Cleveland is still decent, but now if you're Philly, you're looking at like, yo, we got swept in the second round. It was already tough enough, but now New York was there. Boston's still there. You know, Cleveland is there. Miami's better. Atlanta's going to be better. Orlando might be decent, but now we got to deal with Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors again. Oh, man. So I'm wondering at some point, like at what, like when is enough enough? When is enough enough? Like if you're Philly, at what point do you say it's time to move on? It's time to move on. Like at what point do you say that? I don't know. Just asking here. The only time I hear about Paul George nowadays is his podcast. He's washed. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny has come into the show today, and he wants violence. Johnny has come into the show today, and he wants violence. Okay, he's just snapping right now. I mean, okay, because he's just going in right now. Very exciting times ahead, says AshYF4TW. Johnny says, keep in mind, the only people that say Toronto is cold are the people that aren't in the gym working on their craft enough. You know what? I hear you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop one for you on there. But listen, very, very exciting times ahead for the Toronto Raptors and Scottie Barnes, Kawhi Leonard, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything you want to touch on before I get out of here? Because I feel like maybe I should be back tomorrow morning for Canada Day for a smaller show talking more about this development. Because this is just super exciting. Kawhi Leonard back on the Raptors. Absolutely insane. Just crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. Ant Shack 1 says, does this trade cement RJ's extension? You know what? I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you and say, yeah, like it does. I don't know. I really don't. And I think now that the trade has actually been done and Kawhi Leonard is back, everything is now on the table. Everything is now on the table. So I don't know if that means that, they're going to go out there and get RJ locked up right away. They're going to be looking at all options. What are your best options? You have Scottie Barnes. You have the roster we have talked about a whole bunch of times now with Kawhi Leonard. If anything, I think maybe this means it's not cemented with RJ Barrett now, because they're going to look at the best possible option, even aside from RJ Barrett at this point. They're going all in. You make this move, Ant Shack 1. When you make this move, you're going for the chip. And that means everything is on the table. Everything is on the table now. Everything. If you are a Toronto Raptors fan, you're joining me right now. You're watching this. Everything has changed. Every single thing has changed. Now, when we talk, we only talk about championships and chasing the championship. Before we were trying to get to the playoffs, make some decent noise in the first round. Now you're talking about getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and going from there. That's how the conversation has changed. Don't worry, Mike. We might see you later tonight if we do something in free agency. That is true. Coach Roach is in the building. What is going on, Coach Roach? Hope you are doing well. We might have to have another conversation soon with all this stuff happening. Welcome back. This is Toronto Walker 17. Welcome back, Mr. Fun Guy. Mr. What It Do, Baby. Kawhi Leonard, says Toronto Walker 17. Appreciate that. RJ could be more trade bait now for a center. And I don't want RJ gone. You could be absolutely right here. You could be right. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do hear you. Anything's on the table. But how about the secondary scoring for Kawhi, assuming he plays 65 games? They still got some work to do. I think your bench is going to be decent. Like, you're going to have Jacoby Walter, RJ Barrett. The scoring should be better As of right now, we don't know what the hell is going to happen, what this roster is going to look at. Can somebody confirm for me about free agency, please? Or should I just Google this damn thing? I'm on Google. When does NBA free agency start? NBA free agency for the 2026 officially begins at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, damn it. June 30th. June 30th is today. It's 5:57. Free agency starts in 3 minutes. I'm heading to X immediately. It starts in 3 minutes. Oh, shoot. There's going to be big stuff happening here. All right, okay, free agency. All the news right now, I'm online, and I'm on Sham's page. All the news right now is Raptors. All the news right now is Raptors. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. Stay with me here. 2 minutes. 2 minutes until free agency. What is going on here? Kawhi Leonard is... Okay, I got some new news here. And you did mention this before, but this is per Sham Charania. Kawhi Leonard is looking to retire in Toronto. That's crazy. Like how, like, am I in Twilight world right now? What is happening? Kawhi Leonard is looking to retire in Toronto? This is crazy. This guy said he's coming back to win a chip, and then he's out. He means business. Yo, this is wild. We got 1 minute, less than 1 minute to free agency. And let's see what is going on here. The Pistons plan to match any offer sheet Jalen Duren signs. Really? Okay, very interesting. The Minnesota Timberwolves are showing interest in LeBron James. I'm reading just a whole bunch of stuff to you right now that is on NBA Central. The Minnesota Timberwolves are interested in LeBron James. Would LeBron James go to Minnesota? I don't see that happening. The Washington Wizards are shutting down all trade talks involving Anthony Davis. Do you know what's really wild now that I realize that? Do you guys, and I'm not saying this is going to happen or that I want it to happen by any means. I'm just saying this. You guys do know that Bobby Webster wants Anthony Davis. You do know that. I'm just saying. We know Bobby Webster wants Anthony Davis. Now, I don't think they're actually going to do anything crazy and go after Anthony Davis or anything like that. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying there was a lot of rumblings around Anthony Davis. Even though I think it would be crazy because that guy cannot stay healthy beyond 2 games. But I really do like his game when he's on the court. But he can't stay healthy. They'll give it to the All-Star break. I really hope they keep RJ. Free agency starts in 5 minutes. It's official. Free agency is on his way right now. And I think I'm going to sign out of here in the next few minutes. Iman Shumpert, I'm watching. He's talking about Kawhi Leonard saying, I love this, I love this, I love this. On Kawhi Leonard getting traded back to the Raptors. I think the Raptors are going to have a lot of people in their corner. The 6 is back. Listen, the Raptors are relevant again. Yes, they were relevant this past upcoming season, but they still weren't being talked about even in the playoffs. All of that now has changed. Toronto Walker 17 says, I'm just happy the Raptors didn't give up Walter and Murray Boyles in the trade. That was key for me. And Shed. I didn't want Murray Boyles, Shed, Walter. No. Did not want them gone. Veteran minimums coming our way. Kirakam 1419 says, Raptors need to trade Barrett and Yak for Turner and Kuzma. A lineup of IQ, Kawhi, Barnes, CMB, and Turner as a lineup nobody is scoring on. You bring up a very interesting name with Turner, because Turner is most likely on his way out of Milwaukee, right? So we don't know what it's going to take to get Turner, but Jakob Poeltl ain't going to get that done because you're going to need more there. That's going to be tough, right? So we'll see what happens in that regard, but smart you brought that up. Turner is a name to watch. I didn't know Kawhi Leonard's son was born in Toronto during the 2019 playoffs. He sure was. Kawhi Leonard's son is Canadian. He's bringing his son home to his roots. His Canadian roots. People can bandwagon, but me, Mike, Ashwy4TW, knows who the real ones are. Listen, I appreciate every single one of you who are here. I got my diehards that have been with me from day one. And yes, those are some of the diehards, 100%. At Mike Roach 7 on IG, at Mike Roach 23 on X. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, share, and rate the Mike Roach Show. They'll be trading RJ Barrett too in that hypothetical. We have no idea what's going to happen. And you guys are right. Maybe something happens tonight again. Tomorrow, who knows? We're about to find out. But I think we'll wait a little bit, see what happens in free agency. Maybe I'll be back again tonight. Maybe it'll be tomorrow morning. We'll see some of the things that ultimately transpire here in free agency. Thank you for being with me, and I will be back again soon to discuss this further. This is the Mike Roach Show. Thank you all for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. It is going on an hour and a half now at this point. And I do want to enjoy some outside time. I don't know how much I'll be able to enjoy it now with all this stuff going on, because I'm going to be glued to Sham Charania's Twitter page, seeing what the heck is happening in free agency. This is the Mike Roach Show, and I'll be back again soon. Peace. Thanks for joining me, and I'm out.